What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, my name is Adi, and this is a bit of an update video related to the Road to 50K per month series that I started here on the channel with my SMMA. So if you guys haven't seen any of the previous content that I've released, I'm essentially documenting my entire journey all the way up to $50,000 per month with this agency business. I did the same thing related to getting to 10K per month, and we hit 20 and surpassed that goal. So now I'm just essentially pushing the limits a little bit and trying to see what it takes to get to that next level. So, a recent thing that I did on this channel was show you guys the entire roadmap that I'm planning to go through related to scaling to that number that I want to get to. And one of the biggest things was related to improving my service delivery, right? I wanted to have an agency that has just a killer service delivery in general. And one of the big components of that was building out a call center for the businesses that I work with. And I started to build that out. It was a really intense and extensive build. It took a while. It took a lot of resources. It definitely wasn't cheap at all. And I decided to hire a setter and bring on somebody that I thought would be a good fit for this position. And it's definitely a hard process, even just hiring. That's one thing I realized. This is the first time I've done it officially. In the past, I've actually hired some people on contract work, like media buyers and stuff like that, but it definitely wasn't anything too serious. Whereas this was a full time role, and I had to go through everything properly to make it work and to find the right type of person. So I ran some hiring ads in Colombia and Costa Rica just on Facebook. I didn't even spend that much, and I ended up getting a lot of results, although only about 5% of them were even qualified or it was even worth having a conversation with them. The other way I even decided to try hiring people and finding people was through Facebook groups and Upwork. Even though Upwork I got nothing, Facebook groups are actually still not bad, although there's just a bunch of people throwing all sorts of different stuff on there. But the hiring ads that I ended up running, I spent only about $200 on them, and I ended up finding somebody that I thought was super, super qualified. He was actually from Toronto, living in Colombia, because he found a beautiful woman and he decided to settle down. So he was somebody from Toronto, so he spoke like me. He's from Canada and didn't have any sort of accent, and he was 49 years old, so he had many years of sales experience, right? He's been in this game for 20 years and he loves working remote. He was super driven, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the problems with me, especially when it comes to hiring and finding people, once I find somebody that's good and I think that they'd be great at this position, I kind of just shut out everybody else and I stop looking, which is probably not the best quality to have, especially when trying to find the right type of person, because there's little things that you probably don't see in the beginning. They come up later and then you're screwed pretty much, right? Whereas if you went through everything correctly, you interviewed a lot of people, um, your chances are probably going to be a lot better. So for me, I just interviewed this one guy. I pretty much hired him right on the spot. And I essentially onboarded him, got him trained with a tech team related to the infrastructure that I built out related to this call center, because we don't dial outside of Go High Level. So I got him fully onboarded, fully trained, everything like that. And he goes through a whole day of work, actually does a good job. Within this first day, books like 2 appointments. And next morning I wake up, he's supposed to be working already because of the time zone difference. And I expected to just hop on a meeting with him, do a bit more training, go through everything. And I get this message on Slack, which I'll show on the screen. And he essentially just said, after today's day of work, I don't feel like I'm a good fit for this position. Wish you all the best. And he's gone out of the picture. And immediately my heart dropped because I'm like, fuck, like this guy's already dialing for these businesses. I already talked to them and I told them that, hey, we're starting this, and they're seeing all these results. They're super excited. And immediately I'm like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? And, after a few minutes of worrying and just kind of going through that anxiety feeling, I kind of told myself, it's actually a good thing that it happened now, where he wasn't really integrated on many businesses at a time. And I was super reliant on him. I just got him onboarded. And to be honest, if he's showing these qualities already, then he's probably not going to be a good fit for this company anyways. The other thing though, I'm not just blaming him, because honestly, probably a big part of it was on me. I didn't manage the right expectations. I didn't set the right expectations is what I'm trying to say. And I didn't really show him that growth potential and opportunity within the business. I hired him in such a quick way where I didn't go through everything properly. I didn't have the right SOPs built out. I didn't have the right systems built out. I'm sure he came into this company and he's like, I'm the first hire that this guy's making. Who knows if he's even going to be able to pay me consistently, right? So that's definitely going to be a worry. This guy's 49 years old. He's got two kids. Who's I can't really blame him. So I took that on myself and I realized like, hey, if I'm hiring somebody else for this position, I can't just hire somebody like this. So I fully built out this entire system differently after pretty much, after we stopped working together is essentially what I'm trying to say. So for the next hire, I'm like, you know what, I need to build everything out correctly, get the right systems in place, make sure once I find the next person in this company, they're going to be able to see all that potential and the growth opportunity and how they could progress, et cetera, et cetera. And one of my friends actually talked to him about this to get his advice. Just told him about the whole situation. He's got a lot of experience related to hiring. And one of the things that he told me is like, obviously related to managing expectations, which a lot of people say. But one thing that he specifically told me that stuck out is like, hey, you got to tell this guy that I'm going to be real with you. In my company right now, nothing is fully built out as it should be. There's a lot of room for improvement. A lot of the systems aren't fully set up. Tell him that everything's going to be super shitty. You're going to be working hard. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows, et cetera, et cetera. Let him know that hey, this job isn't going to be fun, right? You got to really set the bar super low. And, once he kind of gets settled and he actually starts doing the work, he's going to realize, hey, it's not that bad. Versus oversell and say, hey, this is going to change your life. And then this guy's like, oh, fuck, what did I get into? And then he's gone. Right. So that was a piece of advice that I found super useful. And I definitely implemented that the second time around. Luckily enough, I hired the second guy extremely quickly, probably within the day, because on those Facebook groups that I was posting on before, I got a lot of people flooding my inbox, saying, hey, I'd love to work with you, that type of thing. And there was this one guy that stuck out that also didn't have a strong accent, and he was actually really good. He was a bit more mellow, not as open and charismatic, which was still fine, but I just saw a lot of potential in him. And he's been with me for the past month, I think, and he's been working extremely well. I did want to document this right when it happened, but I've been working extremely hard with getting this type of system up and running, so I didn't have too much time, and I've just been extremely busy. But I decided that I would want to tell you guys and pretty much let you guys know what's going on with the agency, because that was one of those big things. I finally hired my first employee, and they just quit on the first day. But that's completely fine. It was a really great learning lesson. The guy that I have now, I've outlined all the growth opportunity and improvements that he's going to be able to make, and everything's so systemized is what I'm getting at. Him coming into this business, there was not a single second where he's like, oh fuck, this guy doesn't know what he's doing or anything. Or maybe he does, he just hasn't told me. But what I'm trying to say is, from my perspective, I feel like I'm doing a really great job with just managing those expectations, building out the right systems, and taking people through this process. And I've been enjoying it quite a bit. It's definitely not easy. I'm definitely still improving a lot on my end. Nothing's really perfect. But like I said, we're getting there, and this is definitely a good step in that direction. So I just thought I'd give you guys that update because I want to be as transparent as possible, show you guys the insides and outs and pretty much everything related to scaling this business, and just getting to $50,000 per month. So, anyways, that's just a bit of an update. I'm going to be uploading a lot more now, because I really want to just make these raw type of videos where I just show you guys, tell you guys what's going on, what I'm fucking up on, what I'm actually succeeding in, and pretty much just uncover it all. So that's all I had for today's video. In the next one, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to be releasing. This is probably just going to be a bit more updates and take you guys through certain builds and show you guys how to build out this type of system as well that I'm running within the company, and pretty much reveal all the service delivery side of things as well, because that's one of the big focuses in this series. But that's all I had, and I will see you guys in the next one.